Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be doing a drugstore full glam using all of these products here. We're going to start off by using the Real Technique sponge and applying some moisturiser. I'm going to be using the Neutrogena oil-free moisturiser. You can use your hands or you can use a brush or a sponge, anything you like. For this purpose of using it on the model, I'm using a sponge. Make sure you get it in everywhere, on the sides of the nose, above the eyebrow, everywhere. Moving on to primer, we're going to be using the Ordinary High-Adherence Silicone Primer. And this is the first time I'm going to be using this, so I'll let you know what I think about it. Same thing, using a brush, we're just going to apply it all over the face. To colour correct, we're going to be using the NYX Orange Colour Corrector. It's called CJ13. And for this you can use your fingers as well, but for this purpose I'm going to be using a brush, and I'm going to be putting it underneath the eyes, around the mouth, and I want to make sure I'm buffing that in well. Make sure you understand that you only want to colour correct the places that need colour correcting and not anywhere else. Moving on to foundation, we're going to be using the Infallible Pro Matte in 104. And the Bourjois Healthy mix in number 56, which is also light bronze. The Infallible Pro Matte is the American version that I'm using here, but the formula is pretty much the same as the UK one. I'm going to be applying this foundation using a foundation brush and applying it all over the face, but leaving the under eyes bare. For this we're going to be applying it in sections and also in thin layers, so we might go back into the same area and go over it again using a light hand. Taking another layer, we're going to go all over the face again and slightly go over the under eyes. Using a damp Real Technique sponge, I'm just going to be pushing the product in all over the skin, making sure everything looks flawless. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to use the LA Pro Girl in Creamy Beige, and I'm just going to apply it underneath the eyes in a triangular shape. And also putting it down the nose and on the forehead and above the lips, on the Cupid's bow. I'm going to add some more concealer using the Maybelline Age Rewind in the colour Light, and I'm going to put this further down on the face and not too close to the under eyes. The reason why I'm using a brush is so I can create that shape that I want, and then I'm going to go in with the Real Technique sponge and blend it in. For this I'm just going to be using a dabbing soft motion on the skin, and I'm going to go on the side of the nose and on the chin. You can take your time with this and softly push it into the skin. And then I'm going to get some more concealer and add it to the area that's needed. And this I'm only going to apply on the eye bags. Don't put too much concealer and only put it exactly where you need it. Otherwise your under eyes just cake up for no reason. Again, using the sponge, I'm going to push that into the under eyes and make sure that there are no creases before going in with the setting powder. For this I'm just grabbing a small amount and putting it underneath the under eyes first, and then gradually putting in a larger space in that same V or upside down triangle. The powder I'm using to set the under eyes is the RCMA No Colour Powder, and it's amazing. It does not crease under the eyes at all. Moving on to contouring, we're going to be using the Primark contour stick, and this is in the colour Shade. For cream contour, I'm only drawing a line on the side of the cheeks, underneath the cheekbones, also the nose, and just a bit under the lips to make the lips look a bit bigger. Using a large concealer brush, I'm just patting that in and blending that with the foundation. And to my surprise, it's actually pretty decent. To set that contour, I'm going to be using the NYX Big Bold Bronzing Powder in Metropolitan in 602, and I'm also going to be bronzing up the rest of the face. Going in on the cheeks and underneath the chin. And to deepen that contour, I'm going to be using the NYX Contour Palette and mixing these two shades, tapping off the excess and going in on the cheeks to define those cheekbones. You want to take your time with this because you don't want a harsh contour, so therefore you just want to build it up. Using the same shades going underneath the chin and also along the bottom of the nose. We're going to go up to the forehead and do the sides of the temples. Using the NYX blotting powder, which is in light medium, I'm going to be putting some on my brush and dusting away the baking that we did earlier to set the under eyes. Moving to blusher, I'm going to be using the Freedom Pro Glow blusher, and it's like a pinky neutral shade, and I'm going to be using the same contour brush, and I'm just going to be going over it because I don't want it to be too pink either. For highlight, I'm going to be using the Carli Bybel palette, and I'm mixing these 3 shades and putting it on the tops of the cheekbones. You want to take your time with this because you don't want to put a blotch of highlight on, you want to actually blend it out and make sure it looks nice and even so it matches the rest of the look. For this I'm going to be using a mini fan brush, and I'm going to be putting it all over the cheekbones, underneath the eyebrow and also above the eyebrow. Moving on to eyebrows, I'm going to be using the Freedom pomade in the colour Ebony, and I'm going to be using my Anastasia trusty eyebrow brush for this. I'm not going to go into too much detail for this because I've actually done an eyebrow tutorial, so if you want to watch that, the link is in my bio, and also you can find it on my YouTube channel. But I'm just going to fill in the eyebrows using the natural shape, and I'm going to go over that again for some more definition. Don't forget to use your spoolie to brush everything out because that's what blends the eyebrows. Slightly extending it to give it more defined look. Moving on to clean up the eyebrow, this is a great tip for people who don't do the eyebrows or people who do the eyebrows but they want a sharper look. For this I'm using the Maybelline Age Rewind, and I'm lining up the bottom of the eyebrow where all the excess hairs are to give it more of a clean look. For the top of the eyebrow, I'm not going all the way to the front, I'm only doing it for the last 3/4 of the eyebrow to make it look a bit more natural, and using the Real Technique sponge I'm just picking up any excess product that it has and blending it also. Go over where you need to, and that's it. Moving on to powder, I'm going to be using the Freedom Pro brow palette, and I'm going to be using these 2 colours and going over everywhere that we put the pomade just to give it a bit of a natural look. Once that is done, I'm going to be using the NYX Control Freak eyebrow gel and setting those hairs in place so they don't move around. Moving on to the eye look, we're going to be using the NYX eyeshadow base and just putting it all over the eyelids so we can prep it for the eyeshadows. I like this colour for medium skin tones because it looks just like skin. For this you can also use your fingertips or you can use a brush just to set everything in. It's pretty easy either way, it's not too much of a difference. You just want to blend that in on both eyes and set it with the translucent powder that we used before, and I'm putting that on with the Real Technique sponge. Using the Morphe 35O matte palette, we're going to be using this colour as a transition shade. For that I'm just going to be using a fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to be placing this into the eye socket. Take your time with this because you don't want to use too much. You want to slowly build because you don't want to have a big blotch on your eyes, which is usually the case especially for beginners. Now moving on to this colour, it's like a peachy orange shade. I'm going to deepen exactly where we put the rest of the product for the transition shade and just brighten it up. Grabbing the 35K palette from Morphe, I'm going to be taking this brown shade and using that to darken everything up. Don't worry about this palette guys, I've depopped it, that's why it looks a bit crazy. As you saw, I got the brown and grey, I mixed it, and now I'm going to be putting that all over the lid. Using a small brush, it will give you more of a colour payoff, and also it will give you control over where you want to place the colour. Grabbing this Kiko metallic shade in the colour 06, it's called Metallic Shine Eyeshadow, and it's a single pot. Grabbing a flat shader brush, I'm going to get that and put it all over the centre of the lid. And we want to keep all the focus in the centre, we're not really trying to blend it out into the edges. Going back into the palette, I'm getting this brighter silver shade, and I'm going to place it only right in the middle of the centre, because we want to create sort of a halo look. Using the remaining of what we have on this brush, we're just going to blend out the edges. Also, going back in with this fluffy brush, we're just going to blend out everything into the crease and make sure you're adding no new product, because we don't want it to look harsh. Moving on to eyeliner, we're going to be using the NYX Gel Eyeliner, and using a small precise brush and just lining the eye. We're going to keep it as close to the lash line as possible and winging it out slightly. I like this eyeliner because it's not very pigmented in the first layer unless you build it up, and sometimes that's the look that you want. Take your time with this and create a small precise line. Now to darken up that eyeliner, we're going to go in with another layer, and for this we're going to use small strokes, and we're going to take our time because you don't want to rush this, otherwise it's going to not come out great. Using the same precision brush, we're going to be taking it into a dark shade and just darkening up the edges on the outer corner. We're also going to take this up into the crease, and we're not adding any more product because we don't want it to look harsh. To clean up any mistakes you've made, just soften it up with the same fluffy brush and blend everything in. Add a black eyeliner of your choice. I'm using the Kiko one because I think it's the best, and just putting it in the waterline. The same brush that we use for the eyeliner, we'll be joining both the eyeliners in the corner because usually it leaves a gap, so we just want to clean that up. Using your choice of shader brush, we're just going to be smoking out the lower lash line with the same brownie colour that we used on the top in the transition shade, and also going over that. Don't worry if the eyeliner seeps out because we want that to smoke it out. And just running that all over the bottom eyeliner, and we're going to be going back in with the same liner brush because sometimes you lose the pigmentation of the eyeliner when you're blending everything together. Using your nail, you can always clean it up to make a straighter line. Now that we're done with the eye look, we're going to go in with this Kiko water eyeshadow in 200, and it's a beautiful pinky shade. Using a pencil brush, we're just going to put that in the inner corners to brighten everything up, and also we're going to go in and blend that into the beginning of the lower lash line. Using the same pencil brush, we're going to put it underneath the eyebrows to give that eyebrow a defined arch. For mascara today, we're going to be using the Freedom Curl Mascara. This mascara usually comes with a curled wand, but I'm using a disposable wand today. This mascara smells really nice. Now that we've done everything, we're going to go back into the NYX Contour, and we're going to use this banana shade and put it all over the under eye. Actually, I don't know if it's called banana, but you know, everyone calls this shade a banana shade, so. Banana shade underneath the eyes to brighten everything up and make it look all clean. And we're also going to go underneath the cheekbones and the forehead. We've put on the lashes off camera, and they're the Primark lashes, Sultry lashes, and they're £1. They're really light and fluffy and long. And I did not use a Drugstore lip liner. This one is Ruby Woo from MAC, and for this I've got her to line her lips herself. A tip for when you're wearing red lipstick is to make sure that your line is absolutely perfect, because with red lipstick you can never hide any mistakes. Now I'm going to be going in with a liquid lipstick. This is from Colourpop, Ultra Matte, and it's in Creeper, and it's a lot similar to the Ruby Woo, which is by MAC, obviously, the famous Ruby Woo. I'm going to be getting a lip liner brush and putting this all over the lips. Make sure you take your time with this and make sure you do it in sections. Lower lip first and then the top lip. If you make any mistakes, just get a concealer brush with the remaining concealer from before and just clean it up. Top tip is step back, take a look at the lipstick and fix in any mistakes and sharpen all the edges. And that's all, that's the final look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't too fast. I tried to keep all the tips and keep it to a basic eye look, but very effective. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and watch the bloopers. Bye. Oh, it's not bad.
Is it really good?
Well, I'll let you know in a minute. It's not bad at the minute, it's different to really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me hold you. No. She's not messing in there.
Lovely.
I keep posing in the camera.
That's weird that this mascara smells. It smells too nice to be a mascara, don't you think?
Yeah. What made you smell it?
I don't know, because it was looking a bit dry, and I was like trying to look in something else.
It does smell nice. What make it smell?
Freedom.
Oh. Yeah, it's fine. Just dance for the camera.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing.
And not him. I am so sorry.
Okay.
I am so sorry.
Okay.
We can just cut that out. I think we should do that.